Shalom, everybody. Welcome back to Breslov.org. Insights in the Parsha of the week, Parshat Vayigash, in this new year, 2020, Tafshin Pei, Parshat Vayigash. There are many insights always in these Parshas, such deep secrets. What's happening in the world is always hinted in the Parsha. Something amazing that we can see in the Parsha is what Yosef told his brothers when he finally revealed himself to his brothers. When he said, "Ani Yosef, I am Joseph." And they were shaken. So to console them, he said to them, he said, "Einechem haroot, your eyes themselves see, right? And the verse goes on, Kifi hamedaber lechem, that it's my mouth speaking to you." What in the world is he trying to say? That's my mouth speaking to you. So Rashi points out two things that I learned out, that your eyes see, that it's my mouth speaking to you. Rashi points out two things. The number one, he showed them that he was circumcised. Now, you can ask, that's not such an insight, because Yosef got all the Egyptians to circumcise, as we know, and coming up in the Parshas, that we saw that in last week's Parsha, that Yosef ordered all the Egyptians to become circumcised in order that when his brothers finally come down, they shouldn't feel uncomfortable there, that they're amongst Jews. People are called Arelim, who are uncircumcised. But everyone's circumcised now, so there's room for comfort. But in this case, it could be that Yosef was showing them that he was circumcised, that it was from his youth. Okay, that's the simple explanation in Rashi. And a second thing that Rashi says, that he also, that I'm speaking to you in the holy tongue. I have access to the holy tongue, something in which even Pharaoh, who knew all 70 languages, he did not know the holy tongue, the holy tongue, Lashon HaKodesh. So Yosef showed his brothers, it's me. Proof is, I have the circumcision from when I'm a youth, from my childhood, from when I was a baby. So you can see on my circumcision that it's not something recent, that I was circumcised from the beginning. And number two, that I'm speaking to you in the holy tongue. Rabbi Nachman, in an amazing lesson, Likutei Moharan lesson number 19, he indicates that these two concepts of the circumcision, the Brit, the covenant, which represents sexual purity, and holy tongue, are synonymous, are one and the same. He teaches it works A, B, B, A. In other words, that through sexual purity, guarding the covenant, which was the case of Yosef HaTzadik, proof is that he standed up to all the tests presented to him, especially by the wife of Potiphar, where he could have sinned and stumbled, but he stood up to those tests. Like, that's why he earned the title of becoming a tzaddik, Yosef the tzaddik, mainly because of that test. So because he had Shmirat HaBrit, he had guarding of his personal purity, he came to what's called a mastery of the tongue. Like Paro indicates, Rashi says that Paro said, I told you, the nation, to store the 7 years of plenty, to store. Why don't you listen to Yosef when he said that the 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of famine? What did the Egyptians say to Pharaoh? But we did store up everything. So Pharaoh said to the Egyptians, if that's the case, Lechu el Yosef, go to Joseph, whatever he tells you to do, he tells you to circumcise. And what does Rashi say there? And ma'im, and what if he decreed that the produce that you stored in the 7 years of plenty went rotten, spoiled? So what if he decrees upon us that we die? God forbid. So therefore, listen to whatever he tells you to do. Rashi is indicating that Joseph had a mastery of the holy tongue. What does it mean, a mastery of the holy tongue? Not just that he speaks very well Hebrew, the language of the holy tongue. It means control. The mastery of the holy tongue is controlled through speech. Control of the creation, holy control. In other words, Lashon HaKodesh is the building blocks of the creation. Like we're taught from Rashi in the beginning of the Torah, that the world was created using the holy letters of the holy tongue. And what mastery of the holy tongue means, that a person has control through prayer. He has mastery of prayer. So here, Rabbi Nachman shows that A leads to B, that Shmirat HaBrit, guarding the covenant, leads to the mastery of the holy tongue. And Rabbi Nachman teaches also the opposite direction, that when a person is being tested with sexual temptations and transgressions, God forbid, his way out is to use the access to the holy tongue. Like the verse says in Tehillim, Cham libi bekirbi, bahagigi Tiv'ar esh dibarti bishoni. So he explains like this, Rabbi Nachman. Cham libi bekirbi, when my heart gets heated up inside of me for lusts and desires, for sexual desires. So the verse continues, Dibarti bilshoni. How do I cool off that heat? With another type of heat. Dibarti bilshoni. I spoke with my language. In other words, Rabbi Nachman teaches when a person is overwhelmed with this negative heat, to counter it with the heat of the holy tongue, of Lashon HaKodesh. So in this sense, B leads to A. And here, that Rashi says that Yosef showed his brothers that he had both of them, that he had a circumcision, and also Kipiam Daber Alechem, that my mouth is speaking to you in the holy tongue. Rabbi Nachman shows that this is a proof of them being interrelated. That the concept of guarding the covenant is dependent on Shlemut Lashon HaKodesh, on master of the holy tongue, and vice versa, that master of the holy tongue is also a cause to bring to, is an effect of Shemirat HaBrit, of guarding the covenant, and that's what Yosef was indicating to his brothers, that he mastered both of them, and that's why he earned the title of being Yosef HaTzadik and being the viceroy of Egypt, and in that sense, to be able to protect Jacob, that he can come down to the diaspora and not be harmed. Shabbat Shalom.